Welcome to my kitchen. In this segment, we'll be preparing dinner. I'm going to show you one of my favorite quick and easy meals to prepare. And as you see, it's only 3 ingredients. We got the polka kielbasa sausage. We have the chopped onion and chopped green cabbage. You can use any type of cabbage you like. I prefer green. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and heat up my pan. It's all nice and rinsed out. I like to turn that on high to begin with because we want the meat to sear, the meat and the onion. So I'm going to go ahead and sorry for the movement, but I don't feel like pulling out a tripod today. So bear with me. And then we're going to put in half the onions. I like a lot of onions, and I like to cook the first half with the meat. And then lastly, I'm going to add some of this little Dollar Tree garlic, this minced garlic, which I love. I love garlic, so that's about how much I put in there. I've got the heat on high because I want this to start sizzling, searing, and I want some of that flavor to release from the meat and some of those oils and whatnot to release so that they can be absorbed by the cabbage when we put the cabbage in. And then I'm going to add a little salt here, not much because the sausage already has salt. I'm going to, here are my seasonings by the way, some garlic salt, no salt seasoning, granulated garlic, and black pepper, and you already saw this one here. So let's go ahead and do the no salt seasoning. The reason I do this now is because it's easier to season the meat and the onions. So when I put the cabbage in, the seasoning will permeate throughout the cabbage because it's already in the meat and onions, and I won't have to do as much. Now I'm going to pause for a moment and do my little pepper grinder because I need 2 hands for this. This is a little grinder that works like that. So be right back. Okay, I got my pepper in. The pan is sizzling. Turn that all the way up. This is my power burner, so it really puts out a lot of heat. Now we're just going to mix this up until it cooks. See how it's already releasing some of those oils in there? See if you can see what I see. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cook. And cook down to where enough of that flavor has released from the meat and the meat has cooked and gotten a pretty good sear on it. And then I'm going to add the cabbage. And the cabbage is going to cook really quickly. Normally I make this in a frying pan, but I didn't feel like pulling it out. This frying pan up here is too shallow, and that one's not big enough, and that one's too small, and I didn't feel like digging in the cabinets from my other one. So I'm just going to do it in a pot today, which is just as well. I've done it in a pot before. But the reason I like this dish is because it's very quick, and this is the biggest part is the prep. Cutting up the onions, cutting up the meat, and cutting up the cabbage. So I did that in advance for the sake of the video. But once you add the cabbage in and you mix it all around, and then I add the remainder of the onions, the cabbage cooks down really quick because you don't want I don't want soggy cabbage. I want it to be a nice, crisp, light green, pretty light green color that's shiny and glistening, and that has absorbed all the flavor of the sausage and the onion. So we're going to let that cook down real quick, and I'll be back once it's ready to add the onion to it. The cabbage to it. Okay, I can smell that it is time. See it's cooking down, getting a little brown on them onions. You see all that on the bottom there? That's flavor. Sorry, I didn't mean to fling you around. Now it's time to add the cabbage, and that's what I want to see, is that brown. Because that's the flavor that the cabbage is going to soak up for me. Here's the cabbage. Turn that over here. And just a little bit at a time since I'm only working with one hand. And as I put it in, I'm going to stir it up a little so that cabbage can start picking up that on the bottom of the pan. And this is one whole head of a small cabbage, not a huge one. It was pretty small size as far as cabbage heads go. and about 3/4 of a package of the sausage. Now, to me, this reminds me a lot of stir fry, because you notice I didn't put any water or anything in here. Whatever little bit that was left on the cabbage from washing it is more than enough. I didn't want a watered down version of this dish, but whatever the cabbage lets out, that's more than plenty. And let's see if I can do this, or I might have to put this camera down and do it right. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Be right back. And now I got all the cabbage in. I'm going to put the rest of the fresh onions in there, because I like to have a little that still have some texture to it. And then from here, I'm just going to mix it up, and you'll see how quickly this cooks down. And you see it's picking up that fond from the bottom of the pan. You see that brown? That's the onions. Oops, that's the onions. And then that's the fond that the cabbage is picking up from the bottom of the pan. And this will have a little liquid in it at the bottom, and that will be more than enough. And I imagine you can eat this on top of some rice if you wanted to, but I just like it just like this. This is my fix when I really want a vegetable and a little bit of meat and not necessarily a carb. So I make this dish, and you see how pretty and shiny and light green that's turning. Oops, a little spill over there. So that's about as much as you need this to cook on the fire. Maybe just another 30 seconds. And then I just keep mixing it. And then the heat that's already generated in the pot will continue to cook it to just the amount to where you don't have a soggy cabbage dish, but a nice, crisp, crunchy cabbage with just the perfect amount of meat. See how it's cooking down a bit? So I'm going to go ahead and turn the fire off and just keep mixing it and let it sit. And that's going to be the perfect dinner dish for tonight. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. My battery is getting ready to die at any moment. So here's the final product. I don't have time to plate it up. I'm not going to go run and charge the battery just to plate it. So that's what it looks like. And I do want to go ahead and add a little bit more seasoning right here, just to make sure. You got to have some well-seasoned food. And I love garlic, so I always do double duty on the garlic. But there you go. That's dinner for tonight, and that's going to last me for probably 2 or 3 days during the week. But yeah, I just wanted to share this with you guys in case you wanted something quick, easy, and delicious. And you can use whatever type of meat you like. I just think this sausage goes perfectly well with it. So, there you go. Give you a close-up on the spoon. Give you that beauty shot. Here we go. Enjoy. Thanks for watching.